Hi everybody and welcome to this first interview from the Givi Explorer channel. And today we are here with Bert Boute from The Story of B on social media, and we wanted to ask him a few questions. So who are you? Tell us more about yourself. Where are you? What are you doing for a living and whatever. Tell us about yourself.
As Lucas said, I'm from Belgium, and I consider myself maybe as some kind of general adventurist, because I like mountaineering, just trekking, climbing, but also motorbike riding, off-road riding, and traveling. Originally, I'm an industrial designer, so I design products on a little bit more technical or industrial scale, and more specialized for medical devices. But after my PhD, when I graduated, I started this world trip. So now I'm a full-time traveler. Yeah.
Okay, so now we all know the recent situation that's happened. How are you dealing with it right now, especially that everything happened while traveling?
Um, well, I'm now in Australia, and luckily I have a working holiday visa, so I'm allowed to stay in the country and try to get a job, because a lot of travelers are stuck here in Australia, and or they need to stay in a hostel, or they need to stay maybe for quarantine in a hotel. So I did find a job, not like a full-time paid job, so it's like for accommodation and for food, with a little bit of extra money. And on this way, I can just stay here in the country without wasting money, and also just waiting a little bit until the quarantine is over and I can travel around Australia. Yeah. So my initial plan was to work here also in Australia, so it's not too bad actually for me. Yeah.
So well, you look like quite young. So when did you start traveling? Like when did you start traveling, and when did you start this travel?
Um, Actually, my parents. I think I have it from my parents. I'm pretty sure they started traveling for a long time ago already, and I made my first trip when I was only a few years old. And like the bigger trips, that's like 15 years ago. I started like going to Nepal, to Morocco with my parents. Other trips going to Italy, into mountains, climbing, mountaineering, all this kind of stuff. So it's like I kind of have it in my blood, like that I want to explore the world. And then this trip I started in, there would be a little bit more than a year ago, April 4th I started. So I'm now more than 1 year on the road. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. But what are the factors that you consider when you are selecting an itinerary or a special destination for your travels?
Um, I really like to find like the more remote places, and the places that are kept like a secret, or like kept authentic. And especially if the nature is amazing, I'd love to explore it. I'd love to ride some single trails or off-road tracks. Maybe get stuck one or twice a day, sometimes 8 times a day. And then local people help you out. You see like the amazing, like unspoiled nature. And for me, that's the destinations I'm searching for, like the hidden gems that are on remote whatever places that almost nobody finds. Yeah, that's my goal. Yeah.
So, do you have any advice for other people on how to organize a travel, how to choose the destination, how to make it happen?
I would say try to literally, like, less is more. Try to pack as less as possible, because the more you have, the more worries you have. The heavier your bike, the more difficult it is to do adventure, or like more hardcore tracks. I mean, you don't necessarily need to do difficult tracks, but still, the more heavy the bike is, the more difficult it will be. And you can always buy stuff that you don't have yet on the trip. So you can buy a new sweater or a second sweater or whatever. So start with the basic as much as possible, and don't plan too much, because the more you plan, the more you will be stressed to your plan and focused. And if you just like go with the flow, you lose less money, because it's more easy to save and to plan your route on a slow base. And I don't know, yeah, it's just like the more you plan ahead and like book hotels, the more things can go wrong, and things will go wrong. So the less you plan, in my case, the more free I feel. Yeah.
Okay, so now something a little bit happier. So, what is the next destination that you want to visit when you will be able to travel again?
My initial plan was to work in Australia for a few months and travel around Australia, maybe work in another city in Australia, and then do a different part of Australia, because it's quite big. Now I'm stuck a little bit in New South Wales, and I get some kind of job. But after a few months, I'm hoping to go all the way around Australia, and then go to New Zealand and explore the mountains, and the cliffs and whatever is there in New Zealand. So I think I will be still for a few months here in Australia, then New Zealand, and after that South America and all the way to Canada probably. Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty good plan. So thanks for your time and to answer our question. And well, good luck for the next part of your trip.
Thank you very much. Thank you.